on to. The Phillies offense represented at the plate as he so fondly remembers being part of in his years at Citizens Bank Park. The defense shined as well, keeping their old friend from consistently making his way around the bases. Finally, Cole Hamels took apart the Nationals lineup the entire night and put an end to Worth's first night back and put up another W for the Phillies. How do you top 3 straight complete games by your starting pitcher? Well, we'll see tonight as the Phillies get set for Game 2 of a 3-game series against the Washington Nationals. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Gary Matthews. Wheels will be along in just a little while. All right, Sarge, the Phillies have 3 straight complete games by their starters against the Washington Nationals, and tonight they hand the baseball to Vance Worley for his second Major League start of the year.
Well, his last start he did very well, pitching 6 innings. The only thing he did wrong, maybe walked a few batters. So take a look here, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Good movement as he throws that ball. He's getting some double play balls, too. Again, he showed he was not afraid. Rookie coming up. He had confidence in that breaking ball. There's that double play that I'm talking about. That's what you got to have. He had a very strong performance. Now, Jason here, let me tell you, this guy supposedly now is healthy. And if he is, watch the movement on his pitches, and he can hit as well. One of the better hitting pitches in the league there, too, Tom. And this guy, with his ball moving like this, he can be a tough hombre and frustrate hitters, as you can see. He has gotten healthy in the last starts of these 2 guys there. Well, there's the difference. Those walks, Worley having 4, Marquise there, none, Tom, in those 9 innings. 4th shutout for Marquis in his career.
Jason Marquis, Sarge, back-to-back wins for the Washington Nationals. It's the first time since he put on a Nationals uniform. So we'll see what those starters do. We'll also see what the Phillies offense does. Last night, 4 extra base hits. 1 by Jimmy Rollins, 2 by Raul Ibanez. The lineups at first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Toyota. Why do so many car companies compare themselves to Toyota? Come see for yourself at your local Toyota dealer today. By Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. By Xfinity. It's TV, phone, and internet reinvented. Only from Comcast. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phillies. By Citizens Bank. We're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. And by Independence Blue Cross. No matter where you are in life or business, we have plans that fit. Go to plansthatfit.com. Washington Nationals, Phillies, last night. Won it by a final of 4-1 thanks to the pitching of Cole Hamels and also the revamped offense with Jimmy Rollins back in that leadoff spot and Shane Victorino batting in the 2-hole. We'll see if that continues tonight. The success of that offense continues tonight, and also the success of the starting pitching against the Washington Nationals. 3 straight complete games. Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, that was down in D.C., and then last night, Cole Hamels for the Phils. Let's take a look at the Nationals lineup. They've had a couple changes these last couple hours. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at second base, Danny Espinosa. Ian Desmond, the shortstop, bats second. Jason Worth hits third, followed by Adam LaRoche, the first baseman. Wilson Ramos, the catcher, hits fifth. Lance Nix was just moments ago inserted into the lineup. He'll bat sixth. Jerry Hairston Jr. is in center. He'll hit seventh. Alex Cora bats eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is Jason Marquis. And they will face 23-year-old right-hander Vance Worley, who's making his second start in the big leagues this year, and his first one, Wheels, was pretty darn good.
He was good, Tom, against the New York Mets the other night on Friday night. You see, he beat New York with 6 strong innings, walked 4, struck out 5. He threw a lot of strikes early in the ballgame. Then started to struggle a little bit. He, of course, is in Joe Blanton's spot, the 5th starter in the rotation. Here's our Southwest Airlines scouting report on me. It's a pretty good fastball, good breaking ball. 4th career start for him, and every time he's taken the mound in a major league game, he has done just fine.
In fact, his first major league victory came against the Nationals in 1 inning of relief last year.
Yeah, and that was the game where Jason Worth hit that center field home run off Story. Here are our Nissan keys to tonight's game. It's kind of blustery and cold here, but clear weather. Well, this is a different Jason Marquis, evidently, we're going to see tonight than the guy that was out there and injured last year. And how about another solid job tonight by Vance Worley? Get him a few runs, see if the Phillies can pick up another win and already win a series after the game's over.
So Vance Worley will go to work. He'll face Danny Espinosa to lead things off. Espinosa was 1 for 4 in last night's ball game. And the first pitch of the night, take it outside, so we're underway, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Espinosa leads all rookies in the National League in RBIs with 15. He's hitting only .219. He's hit a little bit of a rough patch lately. And a fastball in the outside corner for strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike.
He's a talented player, as is Desmond, his shortstop, double play partner out there. Both of them have a lot of ability, and they're just learning how to be everyday major league players.
Former shortstop in college at Long Beach State.
But they're guys they have high ceilings, both of them. And, you know, they have a good chance to play now for a team that's trying to get some kind of an identity in the league, just like a guy like Worley is. And there is Desmond.
2-1 pitch. Hit foul down the left field line and out of play. And a souvenir right off the bat for the fans down the left field line.
That could sting your hands in there.
It sure could.
It's amazing how beautiful it was here last night. All of a sudden the ski caps are back.
2-2 the count. On the inside corner with a fastball. Called. Strike 3. 1 away here in the first. So Worley out of Long Beach State takes care of Espinosa out of Long Beach State. 1 away.
Looks like they threw a fastball here, and maybe it runs a little bit. Yeah, it did. It started at him just a little bit, and that made him pull off and take it, and then it ran on enough of home plate to get the called 3rd strike from Alfonso Marquez.
Right, not Alfonso Soriano, as I had written down last night in my book.
Now,
here's Ian Desmond with 1 out, and Desmond swings through a fastball, but it's 0-1.
You're in the right neighborhood anyway. At least you had the right sport.
That is true. Desmond last night was 0 for 3. He's 0 for 16 against the Phillies with 5 strikeouts here in 2011. Inside 1-1.
Well, for some reason, you know, a player will struggle against a team, whether or not you have a good book on him or whether it's just circumstances. Who knows? Because this guy has hurt some teams.
Grounder towards shortstop. Rollins has to hurry. Backhands nicely. Throws in time to get Desmond. 2 outs.
There's a difference in what happened last night on a play where he laid back on a little bit and he's smiling. He knows, you know, Jimmy Rollins is such a good shortstop, but, you know, even the really, really good ones every once in a while will not make the correct play. It happens.
Well, one night later, it's a smattering of boos, a smattering of applause for Jason Worth. Last night it was boos to start, and then somehow those boos migrated into a standing ovation.
Yeah, he did a good job when he doffed that helmet.
Said a lot of the right things after the game last night.
You know, the fans are going to get used to this because, you know, Jason Worth is obviously in the same division with the Phillies, and you're going to see the Nats 18, 19 times a year. 8, 9 times here.
Worth was 0 for 3 last night with a walk. He walked in his first at bat. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to him. Worth overall hitting .226, 4 home runs and 7 RBIs, and Hamill certainly had his number last night, even with that walk. Fastball for strike 2, 1-2.
Boy, he was good last night. Cole Hamill's right out of the chute. You can see he had command of his fastball, down with it, and he just pitched a tremendous game.
See what he's done over his last 5 starts since that opening start against the Mets. Worth holds his swing. They'll appeal to the first base umpire, Ed Hickox.
Must be fun to be a starting pitcher after a night like last night, because you know you can just hang out for a while, do your side work, as opposed to when you have a bad start and you have to sit around for 4 days to get back at him again.
2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. He went upstairs just a little bit, and Worth couldn't catch up. 1-2-3 go the Nationals here in the top of the first. 2 strikeouts for Vance Worley. Pretty nice start for the young right-hander. Gets Jason Worth to finish up the inning. We go to the bottom of the first here in Philadelphia. Citizens Bank Park. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Shane Victorino bats second. Placido Polanco's over at third base. His 11-game hitting streak came to a close last night. Ryan Howard is the cleanup batter, followed by Ben Francisco in right field. Raul Ibanez bats sixth. In the bottom third of Schneider, Valdez, and Worley against right-hander Jason Marquis, the 32-year-old journeyman who is making his 250th career start.
Yeah, looking for his 100th win. He has 99 lifetime wins. He has gotten off to a tremendous start. This time last year, he was either on the disabled list or headed for it. Now, he was already on it at this point because his elbow had bothered him so much. Here's our Southwest Airlines scouting report. Sinker ball pitcher, a very good ground ball pitcher. Phillies have had a lot of luck with him recently. He's pitched for the Atlanta Braves. He's been with the Cubs. He's been with Colorado. He's been with the Cardinals. He spent his whole career in the National League, so they've seen him a lot.
Well, he starts Rollins off with a sinker at the knees. It's 0-1. And there's another sinker that's hit foul. No balls at 2 strikes.
He evidently has his sinker back with some velocity. Those have been at 90, and he didn't do that last year when the Phillies saw him those first 2 starts of the year, and they just jumped him. And that's when you knew something was wrong with the guy, or you thought it was.
Rollins last night was 2 for 4 as the leadoff hitter. And he takes a changeup outside, 1-2.
Yeah, according to reports on him, he's using his changeup very effectively, too, and he's not afraid to back it up. By that meaning, throw a couple in a row or maybe 3 in a row.
Let's see what he does with the count 1-2. Up high, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's the way he used to pitch. He used to be a 4-seam high fastball pitcher. And then when he went to the Cardinals, Dave Duncan, the pitching coach over there, changed him into a sinker baller.
Last year he had bone chips removed after 3 starts in April. Rollins just lays the bat on the ball and gets a base hit to center. He was out in front and was able to just bloop it into center field.
Yeah, it was really a slow pitch that he threw up there too to him. And Jimmy stayed back just enough to be able to hit the thing into center field. Take a look. Breaking ball looked like a little backdoor breaking ball. And he hits it right off the end of the bat, but a nice job of keeping his hands back.
So Rollins with his 3rd hit in this series. Now he's aboard. Needing just 1 stolen base for 350 for his career. Victorino shows bunt, takes a fastball inside and low, 1-0.
Marquis is a good athlete. They have 9 hitters in the lineup tonight. And Jason Marquis has a bat in his hand. He is very, very dangerous. And he fields his position well.
Victorino's 1 for 9 against Marquis lifetime, as you saw. And he takes one outside, 2 balls and no strikes.
He's trying to pound that sinker away from Victorino, hoping he'll turn it over into a double play.
The lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Steve Wilson of Feasterville. If the Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game, then Steve will win $200. 2-0 the count to Victorino. Fastball right down the chute for a strike, and it's 2-1. Victorino was 2 for 4 last night. He scored a run, picked up a stolen base, also walked, so he was on base 3 of the 5 times he was up. Mentioned that Rollins needs 1 stolen base for 350. This is not the easiest catcher to try to steal a base against. Ramos is good. Ivan Rodriguez is good. In fact, the opposition has attempted only 18 steals against the Nationals this year.
Well, there's Pudge there. Caught the game last night. A Hall of Famer someday. And Ramos, as Tom said, is very good back there. He can hit too.
Pop up on the left side of the infield. Cora and Desmond. And Desmond makes the catch. 1 out. And that'll bring Placido Polanco to the plate. Not the kind of swing that Dick wanted with the count 3-1. But a pretty good pitch by Marquis.
And that hole on the right side. Yeah, it was a sinker down and away, and he still had a pitch to play with, and that's one that, you know, Shane would go back and think, well, you know, I could have taken that, and even if it's a strike, I still have to go. I still have to. He still has to pitch to me 3-2.
Well, here's Polanco, who last night had his 11-game hitting streak come to a close. 3rd in the league in hitting. And he takes one at the knees for strike 1.
Charlie liked what happened last night with the first 2 guys. They were getting on base, and as he said, you know, we talked about it during the game, that he put a little hit and run on last night one time with Polanco, and it wound up getting the runner to second base. I think it was Victorino who later scored.
Rollins hopping off first. Nice play by Ramos to keep that one in front of him, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Here's a play. That's a very good job. You see the catcher shift and get his body in front of it and block it at the same time. They're not trying to catch it there. They're just trying to make sure it doesn't get away.
Grounder toward the hole. Desmond has it. Flips to second for 1. Espinosa to first in time. A 6-4-3 double play. And the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left for the Phillies. We've played 1 here in South Philadelphia. No score. Port and Lakewood. All 4 minor league affiliates are close to Philadelphia and easy to visit. Williamsport will begin in just a little bit. Enjoy a fantastic ballpark experience with games all summer long. Visit Phillies.com/minor leagues for more information and to order tickets. We can even go see the Reading Phillies next week in Trenton as they play the Trenton Thunder, which is not too far away from here. So there's minor league baseball everywhere around the yard here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's pretty neat the way the Phillies have been able to consolidate their minor league teams around here. As you said, the Williamsport team will start up. And, the only one that is a distance, of course, is the Clearwater Club. The rest of them are all, I'm not saying they're close, but they're certainly within easy driving distance.
Absolutely. 1 ball and 1 strike to count to LaRoche. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. In fact, last weekend, Wheels, when we were off on Saturday, I was up in Allentown for a baseball tournament for my one son and was right across the street from Coca-Cola Park, the home of the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, and it is a gorgeous place.
It is beautiful. We were lucky enough to be up there. First game played there. The Phillies played an exhibition game. We televised it.
Adam LaRoche is hitting 181 so far this season. 1 for his last 25.
Yeah, this guy's streaky, and Phillies have caught him at times when he's with the Braves, especially. They couldn't get him out. Other times, he's a little bit cold and you can pitch to him.
Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He has a real timing type of swing. And when he's hot, he hits homers. You see there, he's hit 11 against the Phils. Quite a few of them, I think, have come here. Seems like it.
11 home runs overall, 6 at Citizens Bank Park.
Played for the Braves, the Pirates, of course, now with Washington.
2 balls, 2 strikes the count. That ball nearly came back on the black. Worley wanted it, and it's 3-2.
One thing LaRoche will do is walk. He's always been a pretty good on-base percentage type of guy. Tries to run that fastball back, and I guess it didn't get there.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah.
And a called strike 3 right at the knees. LaRoche thought it was low, but it's the 3rd strikeout for Worley. And Worley's Warriors, well, they're in the house tonight, Wheels.
How'd you know that?
I've been given information.
Oh, good, because I'm looking at that thinking, who are those guys?
You could see them behind the dugout.
They look like a bunch of Russian Cossacks. There's that fat. Now that was not the Taylor right there. That was like a 4-seam fastball, and right down the middle, and it really fooled LaRoche and the Cossacks. Is that the right word?
I'm impressed. I don't know, but it sounded really good.
You know how they dance? They dance.
I got you. I got you.
I'm not going to show it, but.
Here's the 0-1 to Ramos. Broke his bat. A liner foul. Look out. Dan Radisson has that ball kind of chasing him around. And it's 0-2. Ramos will get a new bat. He's hitting .351, which is the highest average for a catcher in Major League Baseball right now, with at least 50 at bats. It's pretty impressive. Oh, and 2 the count. Try to get him to go after a slider. Down the right field line, slicing, and it's a fair ball. It just kicked up some chalk, and it hopped up in and out of the stands, so it'll be a ground rule double.
Well, he made another really good pitch. I mentioned Ramos can swing the bat a little bit, and he's strong. And they just kept coming in on him. Broke his bat one time, came back in there again. He just watch him pull his arms in, fight it off, and somehow he keeps this thing fair. I think it hits right on the line, or right inside it. Look at that thing slicing. Oh, right on the line. Then it jumps up and goes into the stands. The fans touch it there.
So the 6th double of the year for Ramos, and here's Lance Nix, who was not in the original starting lineup.
That looked like something you don't want to hit off the tee. If you're a right-handed golfer.
Well, I thought it was going to slice foul, but then I saw Ramos running up the first base line, and he had the best view, or one of the best views of it, going up the line. He was hustling.
That's always a good way to tell whether the ball has a chance to stay fair or foul. I'd take a quick peek at that hitter and see how he's reacting.
0-1 the count to Nix. And Nix lines one to center, right at Victorino. 2 outs. You mentioned that Nix was not in the original starting lineup, nor was Alex Cora, who's batting 8th. Jerry Hairston was supposed to bat 3rd, but he's been moved to center because Rick Ankiel has a wrist problem. We saw Rick Ankiel make a great catch the other day against the Giants, and I remember you and I were both saying that he did a great job of tucking his wrist so he didn't injure himself. Well, he injured himself.
He may have anyway. And we understand that Michael Morse has a sore knee. That's why he was scratched.
He was originally in there as the left fielder. So 2 outs. Here's Jerry Hairston. Hairston was 0 for 3 in last night's game. And he pops the first pitch up. Shallow right field. Valdez is there, tracking it with the wind, and he makes the catch, and the side is retired. No runs, a hit, 1 man left in scoring position. We've played a game and a half, and we have a new fan club here at the Yard. Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. No score, bottom of the 2nd. On a cool night here in Philadelphia. We're happy that the rain has gone past us, and we're able to play some baseball here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be dry. We really didn't talk about the wind that much. That's a good point you just made, Tom, about it being cool. It's blowing out of the northwest, and that means left to right, and will knock the ball down towards left and left center and give the left-handed hitters a little help towards right field.
Speaking of left-handed hitters who may or may not need any help, here's Ryan Howard.
Yeah.
Howard has the best numbers against Marquee of any of the starters tonight.
Well, this is the same kind of wind that was blowing the night that Worley pitched on Friday night against the Mets when Ryan hit the 2 home runs to right field. The first one he just crushed. There you see the wind blowing from left to right, and then the second one, you know, the wind helped it a little bit into the seats in right center, the grand slam.
1 ball, 1 strike to count for Howard, who leads the league in RBIs with 29.
The first one he didn't need any help.
Not even a little bit.
No. That was brute strength.
Outside, 2-1. Howard was up in a interesting spot last night in the 7th against Livan Hernandez. Hernandez had walked him intentionally in the 5th and had an opportunity with 1 out in the 7th to do the same thing again. As that ball's hit foul, and it's 2-2. And Jim Riggleman put up 4 fingers, and Livan Hernandez He didn't want that. So Riggleman went out to talk to him, and they had a pretty good exchange, not only on the mound but also after Levon left the game. Ryan wound up picking up an RBI single. And he's down on strikes as he goes after a changeup. And I asked him today, were you surprised that they didn't walk you intentionally? And he kind of went through the whole scenario in his head and explained it to me why he wasn't surprised. And he said, you know, Levon's such a competitor that he wanted to go after me. Ryan didn't have great numbers against him, and Ryan just won the battle.
Yeah, I remember we were talking at the time, like we thought they'd walk him there, or at least make sure that he didn't give him anything to hit, and he wound up giving him something to hit.
Then Francisco takes a strike. It's 0-1. Well, as it turns out, Phillies won the game 4-1. That RBI drove in the third run. Ryan eventually was the fourth run of the day.
It was a big hit, and it was right after Morse had hit the home run to get it back 2-1. So, you know, it gave Cole a little breathing room there at the end of the game.
To the count to Francisco. And he lays off 1-2.
See Marquis using all his pitches tonight. It's a two-seam, four-seam fastballs, mostly the two-seam sinker. He's throwing the slider and using his changeup. And he's right around the plate, but he's not in the middle of the plate the way he was last year. There's a good pitch he makes right there. It's off the plate and maybe could be a strike or a pitch that could jam a guy.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Braves defeated the Brewers in game 1 of their doubleheader. Martin Prado had 3 RBIs. Game 2 will feature the Brewers debut of Zach Greinke. And a swing and a miss and back-to-back strikeouts for Marquis. 2 outs. And with the Braves win, the NL East standings look like this. The Phillies a game up over the Marlins, who lost that ball game last night to St. Louis. It was back and forth. And Atlanta's 4.5 games back. Washington and the Mets round out the division.
Mets are facing Tim Lincecum tonight in their game at Citi Field. Marquis beat Lincecum 3-0. And the last time Lincecum pitched and Marquis pitched, and Knicks hit a home run in that game.
And Marquis swung at a ball above his head and got a hit.
Yeah. Marquis can hit. He's really a good athlete, we mentioned, and he's a left-handed hitter. We'll see him next inning.
2-0 the count to Ibanez.
Charlie hoping that maybe what happened last night will get Raul going a little bit. He thought he had hit some balls hard and he wanted to stay with him. And then last night, you know, he got one over an outfielder's head and one that, you know, they just didn't catch in left center.
Line drive, one hopper right past Espinosa into right center field. So 3 hits in the last 2 games for Ibanez. Charlie was very supportive, as Wheel said, of Raul during his struggles. He said he's, you know, wasn't happy about Raul being 0 for 35, but figured he was eventually going to come out of it.
Well, they talked about getting him a little closer to the plate too, and they think he was last night, and that helped him with pitch identification, with all kinds of things, maybe getting the ball a little bit quicker. And you know, sometimes it can just be just a little thing, and then it can also be very much psychological.
Well, here's Brian Schneider, who has not had great success against Marquis in his career. I guess that's an understatement. You saw the numbers, 1 for 24 against Marquis. Brian was 1 for 4 in last night's ball game.
Catching a lot with Ruiz banged up and getting closer, hopefully, to coming back. And Brian always does a good job. Played for this team for a long time, of course, in 2 uniforms.
Originally a 5th round selection of the Expos. Rich Doobie paid Brian a compliment today that he was excited about Cole Hamels' complete game, not only for Cole and the Phillies, but also for Schneider, because they hadn't worked together that much. Little dribbler. Ramos will pick it up and throw out Schneider, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. The Phils, 2 hits so far. We have a scoreless game as we go to the 3rd. Scoreless as the bottom of the order is due up against right-hander Vance Worley. It'll be Alex Cora, Jason Marquis, and then the top of the order. Hey, the Colorado Rockies will be here beginning Wednesday, May 18th. It's a quick 2-game series, the 18th and 19th. Teva Respiratory Asthma Awareness Night will take place on Thursday, the 19th. A free Phillies cap to all fans. There's the cap. There are limited seats that are still available for that ball game. You can go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets. Alex Cora is hitting a .175 this year. No home runs, 2 RBIs. 1 for 3 against the Phillies in the series down in D.C. And he takes a strike. See the teams that Cora has played for last year. He played for the New York Mets. Grounder back toward the middle. Valdez just can't get to it. I think he got a slow start and couldn't recover. And that's the second hit of the night for the Nationals.
Now Marquis, we mentioned what a good hitter he is. He'll probably be up there to try and bunt him over. He takes a dive for it right there, and even if he caught that, I think he was going to have a lot of trouble getting up throwing Cora, a left-handed hitter, out. And he hurt himself a little bit too, as you can see. Hurt his hand.
So now the Phillies will expect the bunt. Marquis hitting .385 this year, and he's not showing bunt.
Yeah, and we'll take the bat out of this guy's hands. They have a lot of guys struggling in their lineup, but he's not one of them. Now he might have gotten a whistle from Bo Porter at third, like, hey,
you missed a side.
You sure did. I don't think that's a deke. You know, sometimes they'll do that. You know, a third base coach will call a guy down. It's a deke, and now Porter's going to go back through the signs to the runner at first. Cora and the coach over there can see what they're going to do.
Marquis squares the count. 1 ball, no strikes. And he bunts at it. Ooh, it looked like he bunted at it. Brian Schneider looks back. Wonder if they'll appeal. Alfonso Marquez and Schneider are talking. I thought he bunted at it.
Yeah, he must have pulled that back in a hurry.
2-0 the count. Not a bad idea, just to see if Cora jumped in anticipation of the pitch and the bunt.
Right, and you also see where the hitter squares, which he did.
Marquis bunts it toward third, and it's rolling foul.
Not the worst thing in the world, even though it's cold tonight. Make that pitcher. Now the bat boy's running out of the dugout with his jacket right now.
He's just anticipating.
Yeah, he knows though.
He's prepared.
He knows he's just going to give him the bat, and not the jacket. Good job. Ready with both.
Marquis has 35 career sacrifice bunts. 1 this year. He's 5 for 13 as a hitter this year.
He's a lifetime 200 hitter. And that's really impressive when you consider he has 540 at bats.
5 home runs. Swinging away, and he fouls that one in and out of the glove of Schneider. Cora was off and running on kind of a delay.
Yeah, well, that's the old run. You know, they let him go there. It's almost like a hit and run. You know, you're not trying to steal the base in that situation. He's just going to be in motion, and what they're hoping is the Phillies are looking for a bunt, and the infielders are starting to move around, and they can find a hole easier and get a first and third out of it.
Foul tip into the glove of Schneider, and there's one away. That's 4 strikeouts for Worley. And now, Wheels, I know you were waiting for it, but here we go. It's time for the Dodge Stuff the Fans trivia question. We couldn't get the Fanatic to pull that placard down. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Which 4 franchises did Frank Robinson manage in his career? So it's a list.
Yeah.
And you have to get all 4. You can't get 2 of 4.
I know 3 right away, but you're right. The 4th one I can't think of. But it's early.
We'll give you partial credit, but we'll still have to give you a buzz if you don't get all 4.
And if one organization
it's not a time for hints, Wheels.
Well, yeah, we can give some hints, can't we? Well, I want a hint.
Yes.
No, all I'm saying is, suppose it was one organization that turned into another one. Does that count as one or two?
That counts as one.
Okay.
That's why we had the word franchise.
I know. I just thought I'd ask.
Just give you a buzz just to practice.
Oh, they love that.
Espinosa struck out against his former college teammate his first time up. And he hits a towering fly ball to straightaway center. Victorino coming in. He makes the catch. 2 outs. So 2 away here at Citizens Bank Park. Along with Wheels, I'm Tom McCarthy. We're at the top of the 3rd with a couple outs. Phillies and the Nationals, game 2 of this 3-game series. It's a cool night, much cooler than last night, but still another sellout here at the ballpark. It's been a pretty impressive run here at Citizens Bank Park. Ian Desmond grounded to short his first time up, and he takes a slider for strike 1. Desmond was the second participant in Major League Baseball's paternity leave, which was implemented this year, where players can step away for 3 days for the birth of their child. And Desmond took advantage of that. Left the team for 3 days. He and his wife Crystal, or excuse me, Chelsea, welcomed in their first child.
You allowed to add a player while they're away?
You are allowed to add a player. Roger Bernardino was added for those 3 days.
And that's the idea behind this new paternity leave, so that if a guy goes away for 2 or 3 days, you're not shorthanded. But you certainly aren't going to DL him for 15.
And again, it was just implemented this year, and he was the second player. Colby Lewis from the Rangers was the first, but since that time there have been a handful of others who have taken advantage of it. Jason Bay of the Mets, the most recent. 1-2 the count to Desmond. Swing and a miss. He got him. Boy, Worley is right around the strike zone tonight. That's 5 strikeouts through the first 3 innings. He leaves 1. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Nationals nothing, Phillies nothing. Mobile Broadband Network by Jeep Brand. We don't just make SUVs, we make history. And by Citizens Bank, we're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loans that's right for you. Well, things have cleared out here in Philadelphia. A number of beautiful views when you come to this great ballpark, including downtown. And you usually see some pretty good shots of the clouds coming in or going out over left center field.
And we sometimes don't know, and we don't have to worry about this tonight, but out in that beautiful area there of Center City,
yeah,
we sometimes can see the rain about 10-15 minutes before it gets here. And you think, oh, here it comes. Oh, downtown, here it comes to South Philly, and then look out.
Pretty good shot right there. As Wilson Valdez takes a strike. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Valdez making his 20th start of the year. And he's struggled lately. A couple hits in his last 24 at bats. I don't know if he's okay or not. Just took a moment, took his helmet off, went down to his knee, put his hands on his knees. I guess he's all right.
You know it's not the heat.
Hit that one hard. It's right at LaRoche. 1 away. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Minnesota held on to defeat the White Sox 3-2 the day after Francisco Liriano threw a no-hitter last night against the White Sox, the 5th no-hitter in Twins history. Eric Milton had the last one in '99, the 7th in Major League Baseball since 2010, and the 248th no-hitter in baseball history, and that includes the postseason. He walked, I believe, 6 in last night's game.
Wasn't a pretty no-hitter. And Eric Milton came very close to being one of those select guys who pitch a no-hitter in both leagues, because he came really close with pitching one right here against the Cubs on a Sunday afternoon.
8th inning, fly ball to center, right? Ninth inning.
Yeah.
There's a strike to Worley, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
If I remember, that game eventually got tied up, and I think it
did.
went 10, didn't it?
Yeah, it did get tied up. He didn't even get the decision. Worley picked up his first major league hit against Mike Pelfrey in his last start. And he grounds one foul.
You don't want to do a whole lot of that. I mean, you don't want to hurt your hands. He's got a pitch, and Marquis is really has some heavy stuff out there tonight on a cold night. See, they're obviously allowed to blow on their hand. Talk about heavy stuff. It means it's going down in the zone. And you hit the top of the ball.
On the hand, so 1 hopper. Espinosa has it at second in shallow right, throws out Worley, 2 away.
And you get jammed sometimes too, like that.
You can feel it on your hands.
Oh.
Follow the Phils with the MLB.com @BAT11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Phillies.com for details. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. Jimmy Rollins the batter. Rollins singled to start the bottom of the 1st. It's nice to see Jimmy Rollins having some dirt on that uniform. That means he's involved. Last night he had dirt going from his letters down to his knees. He's got it on the back of his leg now.
I think the Phillies are at their best when he leads off and does his thing up there when he's successful. Unfortunately, because of things everybody knows about, you know, they haven't been able to go that route. And Charlie just decided he likes him leading off, and he's going to give this a shot for a while.
He's behind, no balls and 2 strikes.
Boy, this is a different Jason Marquis than we saw last year. You can tell why he's successful. His stuff is so much better. It's around the plate. It's not necessarily swing and miss stuff, but there's a lot of thuds going on down there, which means there's a lot of movement.
Last year in 5 games against the Phillies, he had an ERA of 9.15, and he was 0-4. Off the end of the bat to left field, and Nix makes the catch, and the Phillies go down in order here in the 3rd. So yes, it is a much different Jason Marquis. We go to the 4th in a scoreless game. Swing Line Stack and Shred Shredder featuring hands-free shredding. Who but W.B. Mason? We go to the top of the fourth in a scoreless game. Jason Worth, Adam LaRoche, Wilson Ramos to lead it off against Vance Worley. Gary Matthews joins us here in the booth. Phillies in the Nationals scoreless so far. And we've got a little pitcher's duel rolling along here, Sarge.
Guys are throwing strike. Pretty good defense so far.
Jason Worth was a strikeout victim his first time up against Worley. Took a peek over Polanco at third. And a foul ball back toward the Hall of Fame club, and it's no balls and one strike. We mentioned during Worley's last start, he pitched in 2 games in spring training. He allowed 7 earned runs in 4 innings. Just didn't have command of the slider. Now, in his first 2 starts here in the big leagues, he's had command really of just about everything. He walked 4 in his last outing, but he still, aside from those 4 walks, was right around the strike zone.
Yeah, pitching a little bit more relaxed.
Hit towards shortstop, backhanded by Rollins. Sets himself on the edge of the grass in time to get Worth. One away.
Well, Worth was kind of looking at that as that play actually came. He bare hands that ball going into the hole. Kind of looked at Jimmy Rollins there a little bit. Take a look at it. Backhands the ball, sets himself, fires the ball over. Gets him by plenty. That's just a fine play, and Jason can run, so you got to be on the money.
Everything was on the money as Worth is retired. He's now 0 for 5 in the series. Polanco's made a nice play against him. Now Rollins makes a nice play against him. LaRoche struck out looking his first time up. And a breaking ball outside, 1-0.
Well, you always have mixed emotions when you come back. You've been with a team, been through the wars, different kind of butterflies that you have. Obviously, you want to do good. You think you know what everybody throws. It's getting squeezed a little bit. Rookies get squeezed. Well, obviously these days, most of the pitchers get squeezed.
There's a strike, and it's 2-1. We'll talk about that, Sarge, about the butterflies. I mean, you switched teams a couple different times. There wasn't as much, let's say, television coverage. There was no internet coverage. Was it as hard, you think, then as it is now?
Well, not as hard because of the coverage, but still difficult because, you're playing against a team, again, that you know. And you feel you know what the pitchers throw, and vice versa. They feel they know what you can hit. So it does make it, a little bit nervous time for you, if you will, when you're coming in and that first hit bat. And again, that first hit, you want to try and hit a home run. You want to try and make the team feel that they made a mistake. And so far, they've been handling Jason pretty good.
How fast, I don't know if you remember this or not, how fast does that first day in go? Because you're probably pulled in 8 million different directions.
Well, it goes very, very slow until the game actually starts. That's when you're happy that you don't have to answer any more questions. Jason had a lot of the press that was out asking a lot of questions. He just wants to go out and play. Good pitch. That two-seamer falls right back in there.
Well, that's the second time he's been able to get LaRoche looking, and LaRoche doesn't like the call.
Yeah, well, he took a 2-2 pitch before, which was a strike. He's been getting strikes all night long. Look how that ball moves right back over the plate. Take a look now again. That's that two-seam grip. Well, he knows he's not supposed to be arguing balls and strikes.
I was surprised that Alfonso Marquez allowed him to come out and even say anything.
Well, he's fighting for his players right now and trying to let them know that he's behind them 100%. But I think when he goes and looks at it on the tape, Jim will realize that that was a strike.
Well, now Riggleman will say his piece because he's already thrown out of this game. Honestly, I think Marquez's strike zone has been pretty good tonight. And I know that
he's missed a few, but for the most part, you're absolutely right.
I know Worley has 6 strikeouts, but still.
Now, when you're around the plate, though, you're going to get pitches. And again, I thought that was a pretty good pitch. There's Riggleman saying, hey, that ball low or where is it? You can't argue balls and strikes or check swings.
So Riggleman will head down the stairs. John McLaren will take the lineup card. Here's Wilson Ramos, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Adam LaRoche has been rung up twice now by Vance Worley on similar pitches.
All right, here's the pitch that he called him out on. You see how he jumps back? He gave up on the pitch. And when you give up on him, you don't know where that ball is.
Fly ball foul, slicing out of play, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, one of the things, though, in his defense, that a lot of inside pitches, most umpires don't call. Don't call the inside pitch.
Why?
Well, they just don't. They call more of the outside pitch. It's become more of, for me, a middle away game as opposed to middle in, especially in terms of strikes being called. Good pitch.
One ball, 2 strikes, the count. Ground ball right side. Valdez to his left. He's there. And another easy inning for Vance Worley. 1-2-3 go the Nationals. It's his second 1-2-3 inning of the night. 3.5 in the books here in Philadelphia. When we come back, Shane Victorino will lead it off. By the Pennsylvania Lottery. Play Pure Gold, the new instant game from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Must be 18 years old or older to play. Please play responsibly. And by Xfinity, it's TV, phone, and internet reinvented only from Comcast. No scores. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 2, 3, and 4 scheduled to bat for the Phillies against right-hander Jason Marquis. Sarge, last year, Marquis, in his first 3 starts, get a load of these numbers, allowed 19 earned runs in 8 1/3. The opposition hit 439 against him.
Wow. Well, reason maybe now he is healthy, throwing a little bit harder.
Well, he had the surgery to remove the bone chips from his elbow, and then came back. Had the bone chips removed on May 14th. Came back and made 10 starts at the end of the season, and wound up winning 5 games.
Well, the one thing you know about him, he's been a competitor. He doesn't have the best stuff, but he goes out there and he will battle you and loves to hit.
Now, Victorino popped out to short his first time up. He's 0 for 1. There's John McLaren, who's the bench coach, who's taken over the duties as manager, with Jim Riggleman being ejected. He was protecting Adam LaRoche when LaRoche had a few words for Alfonso Marquez when he was called out on strikes for the second time on a very similar pitch. Pulled to the right side. Espinosa throws out Victorino, 1 away. So Shane's 0 for 2. And that'll bring Placido Polanco to the plate. Polanco has reached base safely in 20 straight games. You were watching the Brewers-Braves game before the start of this one. Ryan Braun had a streak going. What was it, 29 straight games?
Yeah, I thought it was 28,
28, okay. 28 straight games. Did he get on in that last at bat?
Did not get on.
Comes to a close. Line drive toward left. Nick's not going to get there. Drops in for a base hit, and Polanco's aboard with 1 out here in the 4th.
Boy, that's tremendous there. When you're hot, you're hot. That ball in on the hands as he fights the ball off of him. Good pitch by Jason. Better hitting by Polanco. Look at that pitch as it comes in. See how he clears his hips? Good hitters clear their hips on inside pitches. You get to that ball a lot quicker. You just don't want to clear your hips on balls that are on the outside part of the plate. You get a ground ball.
Or a pop-up to the left side of the infield.
Absolutely.
Howard struck out his first time up, 0 for 1. 2 for 5 now in the series. Does a little dancing. So does Polanco to get back to the bag. Howard with 259 home runs, tied for second all time in Phillies history with Del Ennis. Phillies have only hit 23 home runs this year.
Yeah, they don't have the guys this year that can hit that ball out of the ballpark. Obviously, Ryan Howard can, but collectively, when you have guys that can hit the ball out like the teams they've had before, the other guys get a lot better pitches. Here's a guy right here. Was one of the reasons why guys in the front of the lineup get better pitchers, because they don't want them on base. Want them to hit to get on.
Outside and low, 3-0 to Howard. Then Francisco waiting on deck. Got the green light, a dribbler to the right side. Espinosa gobbles it up, and they get Polanco. And oh boy, Polanco went into that bag very late, and he may have hurt himself.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. That's not a good thing right there.
Well, you called it just right. See Mark Anderson, trainer, looking on. That's a good sign, however, just to see him kind of just jogging off. Anytime you slide close to the bag, your feet are gonna go right on it. You gotta slide a little further from that bag. Here's the toss. So he's right on him, almost like he wasn't. Now you see how his foot gets jammed in there? Good thing it went off to the side.
Well, Francisco shows bunt on the first pitch. Let's watch it again.
He's looking at him all the way. He acted almost like he wasn't going to slide.
Then it looked like he tried to slide to make sure Desmond couldn't turn the double play.
Yeah, rule of thumb on that, you just go on and get down. I mean, if you're undecided about slide, just go on and slide.
So Polanco going down the stairs.
Probably put some tape on it.
Just for support.
Yeah, but and dude, when you're warm right now, you don't really get the swelling unless it's bad. The longer you go, a lot of times the worse it gets.
Toward third, and Alex Cora had it played perfectly, and the Phillies go down quietly here in the 4th. In fact, both offenses tonight have been very quiet. Good pitching so far through 4 here in Philadelphia. Scoreless game as we go to the top of the 5th here at Philadelphia, the Nationals and the Phils. Vance Worley so far has retired the Nationals in order twice, and every time the Phillies do that, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity HD Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, lightning fast internet, and home phone. See the comparison between the two starters. Oh, this is a flat-out pitcher's duel so far, Sarge.
Sure is. You can tell by the hits. Strikeouts, Worley with 6 of them.
Lance Nix a little out in front and hits it foul. Jason Marquis through 4 has allowed 3 hits. Oh, and 1 the count to Nix. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Lance Nix last year played for the Cincinnati Reds. In fact, the last couple of years.
That was their best pinch hitter last year.
It's one back to the middle. Nice play by Wood. He actually looked disgusted on that play.
Okay, good play though. Ball looking like it might have been headed up the middle. Little loose mustache we got going on there.
Yeah, Worley's Warriors are kind of breaking down a little bit.
Take a look at this here. You can see why he took that deep breath. Ball hit up the middle. He's glad it didn't hit him on his knees or anything. Or his leg, I should say.
That mustache is going every which way.
Oh, boy.
What a way for Jerry Hairston. And it's no balls and 1 strike to Hairston. Popped out to Valdez at second. I had someone ask me, Sarge, why Worley wears the protective glasses out on the mound. You know, was there an injury or something when he was younger? And I asked him about it. He said, well, no, I just wear glasses. So he said he used to wear a certain set of glasses when he was in college that he had to change because he'd be out on the mound and they would fog up on him. So that's why he went to these particular specs. And it's a little easier for him.
And they will fog up those glasses on you.
To right center field, and Francisco's there. 2 outs. Email, text, Twitter, and Facebook 24/7. Go to csnphilly.com for breaking news, interviews, and videos on the Sixers, Flyers, Phillies, Union, and the NFL from our team of insiders. Be the first to know the latest news on Phillies teams. Just text alerts to 53695 or sign up for alerts at csnphilly.com. Flyers were down 2-0 against the Boston Bruins in tonight's game, and down 2-0 in the series. So if you had those alerts and you were nowhere near a TV or a radio, then you would know what's going on with the Flyers, that they gave up a couple goals in the first minute and 3 seconds. Could be here at the ballpark watching the Phillies game. You have your phone, you can get the alerts.
Yeah.
Alex Cora reached on an infield single his first time up. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Two youngsters a little upset that young lady got the souvenir. One hit the other, said, "I thought you were going to get it. You got in my way." If she caught it, she's going to let everybody know that she caught it ahead of all those guys around. Little fly ball back of second. Rollins is out and just can't get there. Just beyond the stretch of his glove. And it's a 2-out single for Cora.
Yeah, I thought the way that Victorino played that, he played it exactly the way you should. You know, you don't want Rollins to hear you coming. And just at the last minute, kind of looked like he just held up a little bit, although he did go into a slide. You see how Victorino's away from him? Therefore, you don't hear any of those footsteps.
So Cora has 2 hits. And here's Jason Marquis, who struck out his first time up. Marquis has 36 extra base hits during his career. You could just throw that number out there and say, well, what's that mean? Well, for a pitcher, that's a lot.
This guy's a good hitter, especially on that fastball. And he can hit it out of the zone. It can be up. It can be down.
Line drive toward Rollins. He'll take it on 1 hop. And he throws out Marquis. How about 21 consecutive scoreless innings for Vance Worley? That dates back to last year. He leaves 1. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Phillies to this year's All-Star game by voting up to 25 times at Phillies.com. Visit Phillies.com and cast your ballot now for your 2011 All-Stars. Vote early and vote often. Vote today at Phillies.com. That's a gentleman who knows when the red light's on, he's on TV. He waved to the camera. We go to the bottom of the fifth, no score. Nationals with 3 hits. None of them hit that hard. Phillies with 3 hits. Maybe one hit hard. That was the one by Ibanez.
Well, maybe the weather has something to do with it, being a little bit chilly out. The one that is the warmest would be the pitcher because he is moving on the mound. Worley, he has short sleeve shirt tonight, so not that bad. Pretty pleasant. With a jacket.
Weren't you just the one in between innings that was looking for your gloves?
Yeah.
Ibanez leads it off for the Phillies, and he hits one in the air to deep right field. Jason Worth will be a spectator. That one is gone! Wow, what a shot by Ibanez! And the Phillies are on top 1-0.
Well, he didn't waste any time. First pitch, see you later. Ibanez starting to warm up a little bit as Charlie gives him a high five. You know, they like this guy to do good. Take a look at this first pitch fastball. He jumps all over this pitch. No doubt about it, win or no win. Even though it might have been 8 a little, it was going to go.
Steve Wilson of Feasterville, you've just won $200. Compliments of Raul Ibanez and McDonald's home run jackpot. It's his first home run since the 7th of April and only his 2nd of the year. And that's now 4 hits in the last 2 nights for Ibanez.
Yeah, I thought he came close last night on that almost grand slam. Got to just on the label a little. If he has that same aggressive type of approach, you're going to have better things. Mainly, though, he's hitting strikes.
Schneider hits it hard off the glove of LaRoche and into short right field. Espinosa and Worth both got to it quickly. That'll be a hit.
And another ball hit hard. That's the other thing. You start hitting balls hard, you end up putting a little fear in the pitcher that is pitching. Especially if you're hitting any of his good pitches. And Raul, been a long time coming since he probably is feeling this good.
2 games does not
absolutely not
break a slump, but do you see anything different?
I see that he's been a lot more aggressive. You know, before he was going up, taking some pitches. Not only that, swinging at bad pitches. He has been swinging at strikes so far these last couple of games.
Well, Charlie Manuel, excuse me, Sarge, I'm sorry, has obviously stayed with Raul through all of this, and you've played for a lot of managers. It's pretty good when you don't have to look over your shoulder and wonder, is he going to take me out?
Tell you what, one of the only managers that you can be 0 for 34 or 35 and still be in the lineup. So again, Raul comes to the ballpark. You know, he works hard.
Well, the Phillies 13-2 this year when hitting a home run, at least 1 home run. And Ibanez just hit at least 1. Towards shortstop. Nice play by Desmond. There's 1. And they're unable to turn 2 as the ball got away from LaRoche. So 1 away on the 6-4 putout at second. I don't think Espinosa would have been able to throw out Valdez. I think he would have beat the throw. But he's fortunate that ball didn't go through the opening in the dugout.
At least you like the ball being hit hard. Pretty good play, though. See that slide as he comes in. You're right.
So here's Worley. Worley most likely up there to bunt with Valdez at first and 1 out. He's 0 for 1. He grounded out his first time up. Third baseman charging, and Worley takes a healthy swing. And if you're Alex Cora, you're going, woof, I'm glad he didn't make contact.
If you're one of the fielders that are coming in, your eyes get as big as saucers when that bat is swung. No, you're already in, and you're defenseless if that ball is hit your way.
0-1 the count. Now he squares, and he takes it low. Marquis saying, didn't he offer that? Alfonso Marquez says, hey, I didn't ask for help on your attempted bunt earlier in the game. I'm not going to ask for help here. Swinging away again, a liner toward left center. That's going to drop in for a base hit. It's a hitting streak for Vance Worley. 2 games in the big leagues, 2 hits. And Worley's Warriors, well, they got something more to cheer about.
Well, Charlie doing something unconventional. Usually you would go on and have your pitcher go on and bunt. Worley has shown that he can handle the bat as he picks on a fastball. Pretty good swing, however. Look at this. Good swing on it as he stays right in on a fastball. Hits it right in the left field.
Well, short sleeves out on the mound, long sleeves on the base paths.
Oh, he's got to protect that arm somewhat. You know, you're moving when you're on that mound.
Rollins the hitter. Rollins 1 for 2.
Now, runner's got to be alive. He'll throw the bases anytime at all.
Hey, let's talk a little bit more about Charlie's instincts to let Worley swing away. This could potentially be a big deal.
Well, I mean, he's going to go on whether or not he thinks you can handle the bat, whether or not he feels you're able to make contact. A little bit of a late swing. You know, so far right now, if there's a pinch hitter, it's been Hamels. I mean, that's how it's been looking.
If they use a pitcher.
If they use a pitcher, right. Now, if it's a left-handed pitcher out there and everybody's gone, guess who's going to be your guy?
Vance Worley.
There you go.
Not Roy Halladay?
Roy's going to have to get a few hits.
Rollins tried to check. Nope, he went around, says Brian Nora.
Now, Roy has pretty good setup. But Worley, you're going on guys that are more so results. I tell you can call this play just about every time. You know, it didn't look like he broke his wrist at all in coming across. Sometimes umpires are out there, don't have anything to do, just trying to get in the act, maybe stay warm themselves. Give it that little, yeah, he did swing.
He does look like he's sweating now.
Oh, boy.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Rollins. Down and away, 3-2. Marquis tried to get him to go a little fishy.
Now he'll throw that same pitch. You saw how it darted away. He'll start that ball on the inside. A lot of times those hitters from the left side, you give up on the ball. It's been running back toward the inside corner.
Outside ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Well, that base hit by Worley really sets the sitting up nicely for the Phillies. Daily News Live has got plenty of stuff to talk about. Tomorrow at 5 on Daily News Live, Phillies top sports writers talk about the day's hottest sports topics. Don't miss the best Phillies sports talk on Daily News Live, presented by AT&T. Tomorrow at 5, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Steve McCaddy taking a long walk out to the mound.
Yeah, they're going to try and get somebody up in the bullpen, I would assume. And you can see how slow he walked out there. There he is.
Ryan Broderick, the right-hander, loosening up in the pen for the Nationals. Marquis has been very good up until this 5th. He had allowed only 3 hits. And then Ibanez touched him for a leadoff home run here in the 5th. Since that time, he's walked a batter and allowed 2 hits. And his pitches by inning fairly consistent, but getting higher here in the fifth.
Yeah, tried to get Jimmy Rollins on that 3-2 changeup. Usually you'd get that fastball in that situation.
Sarge, Adam LaRoche needs a new glove. Something happened to the webbing of that glove, so the Nationals athletic trainer will take it in and get it stitched up. They'll bring a new one out.
Yeah, always has a couple of them.
Your guy Bo Porter flipped it to him. Bottom of the first, Florida leads at 2-0. Hanley Ramirez, an RBI and a run scored. So here's Victorino with the bases loaded. Valdez at third. Worley at second. He has a big time at bat in this inning. And Rollins at first. One out for Victorino. And he hits one through the hole on the left side, a base hit. Valdez will score. Worley holds up at third. It's 2-0 Phillies.
Well, Victorino fighting off a fastball, kind of inside outing that ball, if you will. Finding a hole right through the left side.
And again, the bases remain loaded, but it's 2-0 Phils here at the bottom of the fifth.
Now watch his first pitch swinging and take it away. That ball was away, and he hit that ball right through the hole. Just a good at bat. Didn't try and pull the ball at all, went right with it.
So now Polanco, who singled his last time up. Takes one a little high and inside, 1-0. I think Marquis wanted that pitch. On the inside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike to Polanco.
Outfielders are pretty shallow, center field and right field there, Tom. I'm sure they're trying to cut that off, especially with Worley running. Also taking a chance on the ball being hit in the gap,
Do you say cut him down, meaning on a fly ball?
Yeah, you know, usually with a regular runner, I'm sure that they'd be back a little bit, maybe further. But usually, though, these guys have been playing so deep, especially in last night's ball game.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the count to Polanco. In the air to left field. Nix settles under it. Worley's tagging, makes the catch. Here comes Worley. He's heading home, and he's going to score easily. A sacrifice fly for Polanco. 3-0 Phillies. And again, not to overstate it, but Worley's base hit, instead of having him bunt, having him swing away, has really paid off in this inning.
Really has. Really has. Take a look at a professional hitter, meaning that he gives you a good at bat just about every single time. No chance to get Worley as he goes and tags home plate.
Safe and secure at home, safe and secure with New York Life. A 3-run inning, and still 2 runners on for Ryan Howard. A liner toward right, caught by Espinosa. So he hit it right into the shift, and the side is retired. But the Phillies scored 3 in the inning. They do so thanks to 4 hits. They lead 2. We've completed 5. Raul Ibanez, well, he got it all started. A long home run against Jason Marquis. It's just his 2nd of the year, but it's helped the Phils to a 3-0 lead. 2011. Ryan Howard led all major league hitters in RBIs after April and continued his climb through the Phillies' all-time home run rankings. With less power but plenty of production, Placido Polanco delivered a franchise record 41 hits in April and a personal best 19 RBIs during the first month. The power and production of these two Phillies is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. More than ever, we're here for you every step of the way. Well, pretty good night for Placido Polanco already, and we've said that a lot this year. Base hit, sacrifice fly. He is what you term a
professional hitter.
That's exactly it. Just gets the job done, just knows the situation.
Yeah, solid at the plate, not trying to do too much, which is always the key, and staying within himself.
So we begin the sixth, top of the order, third time through against Worley. Espinosa 0 for 2. One and one. Was there ever a guy that you faced in the majors that you grew up facing at all in Southern California? Did you ever have that opportunity?
No, not one pitcher. There were players now that I played against. Doug DeSensis, for one, who played with the Baltimore Orioles.
Nobody that was ever on your team in Southern California?
No, not at all.
I wondered how weird it would be for Worley to face Espinosa. These guys were teammates in college. Espinosa was his shortstop. Worley was one of the starting pitchers at Long Beach State.
I think you'll find more of the college players that would have played against each other, because I know Roger Clemens used to talk about that. Oh, as he hits him with a breaking ball. You know, he used to talk, you know, about that, and really they felt that it kind of fueled that friendship in the way where they want to have the bragging rights. They want to get you out.
Roger Clemens, of course, started at the University of Texas before he went to the majors. And here's this breaking ball that gets Espinosa.
Yeah, just don't want to see it. He had, thought that was 2 strikes on him, at least one.
So a leadoff base runner for just the second time tonight. And Desmond takes a fastball upstairs. Down the right field line, that'll slice out of play. It's even now, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, sellout number 139 in a row. And I know they say attendance is down around baseball, but you'd never know it here in Philadelphia. I mean, it's just packed every single night. Just constant electricity.
Yeah, well, baseball city, great fans. They love their team. One of the, let's face it, better teams that you'll see out in the major leagues with terms of players.
Well, Jason Worth said after the game last night, in paying the compliment to the Philly fans, and he did. He paid a number of compliments to them. Said he hopes that he can duplicate or help duplicate what the Phillies and their fans have here down in Washington. He said that's what one of his goals is as a national. Inside, 2-1.
Well, if he's thinking like that, then that means that he's going to have some big years, and they're going to have to win.
Runner goes, pitch is chopped towards shortstop. Rollins has a play at first and only first. And there's one away with a runner in scoring position. Oh, it's time now for our Coors Light freeze cam. So let's just take a look at some of these called strike threes that Worley's tossed up at the Nationals.
Well, I like that movement, and look at that, giving up on the pitch. I talked about that. See, giving up on the pitch again, look, not even looking at where that pitch is. Oh, and he wanted you to look at it again.
Coors Light freeze cam brought to you by Frost Brew Coors Light.
Now, you go back and you look at those pitches on the tape, you're going to go,
he should go into Jim Riggleman and say, listen, I'm sorry. Those balls are strikes. I'll pay your fine for getting kicked out of the game. Okay?
Worth is 0 for 2. Won the count. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Good velocity still.
See that Jason has dropped his hands down. Remember when he was here, his hands were up a little bit higher. He's got his hands down. I guess he feels a little bit more comfortable. Ask their hitting coach the reason for that he has his hands down a little bit lower. You know, I always like your hand in a position where, you know, you're getting ready to hit in that position as opposed to bringing him up in that position.
Need to have good reactions to bring him up and then go through the zone.
Harder to hit that high pitch when you got your hands down low.
2-2 the count to Worth. Well, your teammate Bobby Bonds used to have his hands down low at his waist all the time.
Well, he did, and look for one pitch, which was a fastball. And if you threw him a curveball, he'd almost break his neck, legs, and everything else swinging at him.
There's the 2-2 to Worth. Just missed with that fastball.
Pretty good pitch. I've seen Jason before. He will take close pitches and at times too close.
3 balls, 2 strikes the count with a runner at second. Foul tipped that one in and out of the glove of Schneider.
I got to give Worley credit. I mean, he went right at him, fastball, right in that hitting zone, middle in that pitch was.
He got him for a second time tonight.
Wow. That's what you just call being blown away right there. Fastball, 3-2. You know it's coming. You're looking fastball. He takes a deep breath, looks in at the target, and fires right in there. There he is looking at it. Comes right over the top. There's that blind spot. Look how his concentration, keeping his eyes right there on the target as he throws the ball by Jason Worth.
So Worth now 0 for 6 in this series. And here's Adam LaRoche. 7 strikeouts tonight for Worley. He's gotten LaRoche twice. The last time in the 4th, and that's when Jim Riggleman was ejected. We're having a word with Alfonso Marquez. Swing and a foul tip. 0-1 the count.
His fastball's been consistent tonight. 91, 92. More importantly, though, he's had it in good locations.
That one looked like it was a little tighter than the 2 that he was rung up on. Just a little bit.
Got to give Worley credit, though. He continues to pitch inside. And as a major league pitcher, you want to be able to pitch both in and out.
Well, he's ahead now, 1-2, as that foul ball goes up into the upper deck. Espinosa's on second. He was hit by a pitch to start the inning. Went to second on a ground out.
Well, he's gotten LaRoche twice on balls down near the knee area. Let's see if he goes back to the well or maybe throw him something else.
1-2 the count. Oh boy.
Well, you can tell, though, really feeling pretty good about himself as he throws the pitch, almost calling it himself. I tell you, though, Tom, that's a pretty good pitch. Let's see where this ball is.
Schneider may have pulled it back a little bit, but that was awfully close. Here's the 2-2.
I gotta tell you, got to give LaRoche a little credit for not swinging at it. Again, that one a little further off the plate, though, for me.
Worley's Warriors are not pleased, Sarge.
No, well, they want him out of the game. That's right.
In the air to left field. Ibanez on the run. Back to the warning track. Over his head. Off the base of the wall. LaRoche will win this battle. An RBI double. That scores Espinosa. And Worley's scoreless streak comes to a close after 21-plus innings dating back to last year. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, Charlie's a little bit upset at Alfonso there, saying that that's not his hit, that's your hit. Thought he had him struck out. I thought one pitch was pretty close. Alfonso's looking in the dugout.
Rich Dubé comes out just to give Worley a breather out on the mound.
No, and that's a good time right now to do that. Go out and talk to him, settle him down just a little bit. Been pitching good. Keep his composure.
Well, that RBI for LaRoche is the 11th of the year. That breaks a streak of 1 for his last 27. Umpires don't like when they're turning their head from left to right.
Oh, no. And usually they can just about tell whose voice it is that's screaming at them.
Ramos takes the fastball upstairs. This is as the play is ensuing. Charlie is barking at Alfonso Marquez. This is as LaRoche is going to second.
Oh, boy.
Ground ball toward third, a foul ball.
Want to be able to stop the damage right now. 93 pitches so far for Worley.
And he was a third of an inning away, Sarge, of matching Billy Champion's mark of 22 consecutive scoreless innings. That's the last time a rookie had gotten this far without allowing a run. That was back in 1969. Again, it grounded toward third. That's a fair ball behind the bag. Long throw by Polanco.
Wow.
Dug out by Howard. Wow, what a play. How about Polanco? How about Howard flipping some leather for Vance Worley here in the 6th? Well, the Phillies season so far has been a lot about defense, and tonight they are showing why behind Vance. Amazingly low office product prices by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. And by Acura. Acura Advance. Well, Vance Worley through 6 innings has a 3-1 lead. Talon off his scoreless streak, which dated back to last year, ended at 21 2/3 innings. And the young fans bundled up for tonight's game. They've watched pretty good pitching performance really on both sides. But right now it's Worley who has the edge as we start the bottom of the 6th. As Marquis allowed 3 runs in the 5th. Two 2-0 the count to Francisco. 0 for 2. Toward third, a foul ball. How about that play by Polanco at the end of the inning?
Oh boy, on both ends of those. I mean, for Polanco to even catch that ball and get it in the vicinity. Ryan Howard picking the ball one hand out of the dirt.
Three and 1 the count to Francisco. And he takes ball 4. So the leadoff batter's aboard for the 2nd straight inning.
Now you got everybody arguing on the pitches. Jason asking, hey, where is that? Now there's that play by Polanco. Brian saying fair all the way. Now check this out by Howard. And he pitched that all the way. Notice how he kept his foot right on the bag.
Brian Howard has been, I think, as improved a defensive player in 2011 that we've seen in the National League. I mean, just with that kind of play around the bag. You know, I know people talk about his throws all the time, and you know there's a reason he struggles sometimes with his throws, but he has picked a lot of balls out of the dirt over there at first.
Quick reaction. We saw him pick some balls that have been hit his way.
Ibanez takes at the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, good night for Raul. 2 for 2. 4 hits in the series. Lays off 2 balls and 1 strike. Hits it hard again. Another base hit for Ibanez. Francisco will stop at second. Raul is 3 for 3. And that's what he's done in this series, and that includes his Coors Light cold hard blast back in the 5th.
That's oh boy, that ball center cut as he hits it right center. Gets back up there.
So 3 for 3, 5 for 7 in the series. The Phillies with nobody out, runners on first and second. Brian Schneider's 1 for 2. Lays off, 1 down and away, 1 ball and no strikes.
Hitting his confidence besides having a good position there at the plate. He just seems to be a little bit more relaxed. You know, approaching the ball. And before, Ibanez swinging the ball almost in the dirt.
Line drive, base hit for Schneider. Francisco had to hold up to make sure that ball wasn't caught by Espinosa, so he'll stop at third. The bases are loaded for Valdez. Schneider has 2 hits tonight.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, too. That's a line drive. A low line drive. They always tell the fielders, freeze if you're a base runner. That way you'll be able to get back.
Francisco's over at third. Ibanez at second. Schneider's at first. And the Nationals will play the infield at double play death with Valdez up. And they've got bullpen action again. Broderick has been up and throwing a couple different times. Valdez toward the hole, base hit into left field. Francisco scores. Ibanez stops at third. It's back to a 3-run lead.
Saw Worley go right back over to the dugout. See J.C. Romero warming up. Might be it for the youngster.
Well, it looks like it is. Ross Glode has got a bat. He's swinging it in the on-deck circle. And here comes John McLaren. That's going to be it, I think, for Jason Marquis.
Yeah, that seems to be that kind of a walk, dead man's walk, when you know you're getting ready to come out of the game.
You know, I thought that hit by Valdez may have allowed Worley to stay in the game because it's back to a 3-run lead. But Charlie Manuel is looking to blow this baby wide open here in the bottom of the 6th. So Broderick's coming in with the bases loaded and nobody out. This is an AT&T call to the bullpen. The Phils lead it 4-1. They've reached double digits in hits once again. Loaded. Jason Marquis has become a spectator. He's been lifted from this ball game for right-hander Brian Broderick. Broderick, a 7.56 earned run average in 7 games so far for the Nationals, and he'll face pinch hitter Ross Glode. Vance Worley's night is done after 6 innings. Charlie Emanuel's going for a chance to open this game wide open. Ibanez is on third, Schneider's on second, and Valdez is on first. Phillies have the best pinch hitting core in the league. And the pitch to Glode. Swing and a miss. It's 0-1. He looked like he was trying to unload on that one.
Just trying to get as many runs as he can. Charlie, knowing that club's been having a problem in scoring runs. The more runs you have, the easier it is for the pitchers to pitch on the mound.
A little low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Glode has not pinch hit since last week. There's Vance Worley, back-to-back 6-inning performances. He's allowed 1 run in 12 innings of work.
And got himself another hit. Probably the most important hit.
Yeah,
if you will.
I agree with that. Glode taking, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Glode's last pitch hit appearance was the 26th of April against Arizona in Phoenix. Two and 1 the count. After a down and in fastball.
Yeah, it's when you're not hitting a lot, everything looks kind of good. You know, but you can see the difference in the count that you would have if you take that pitch. 3 and 1 if you take it, 2 and 2 if you swing at that.
just saw the runners really not being looked at by the defense. LaRoche is in on the grass at first. Cora is back a step or two beyond the bag at third. Little number foul.
Pretty good swing to stay alive. That ball looked to be coming back towards the inside. Rode, another one of the aggressive hitters. That's what you have to do off the bench. You got to be aggressive. And that first pitch fastball you see, Manny Mota used to talk about that with the Dodgers. Lenny Harris, another one who has the record for pinch hits.
He fights another one off. Broderick, by the way, is a Rule 5 selection by the Washington Nationals, picked up by Washington in December. He was left off the 40-man roster of the St. Louis Cardinals. And because he was in the minor leagues for 4 years, this would have been his 5th year, he became eligible to be selected by any other team, and the Nationals took him. So he has to stay with the Nationals this entire year or be offered back to St. Louis.
Right, sometimes that can work against the club, because if that guy isn't ready, then you're playing a player short. You know, and a lot of times you're looking at these players to help you out in the long run.
2-2 the count. The pitch to Globe. Swing and a miss. Way out in front of an off-speed pitch. And there's one out.
Important here for J-Ro, though, to be able to make contact. This is a situation here. You want him to make contact anywhere but really back to the pitcher. The fielder's got to go left or right. He should be able to beat it out if it's a double play on a ground ball.
Rollins takes the breaking ball for strike one.
Well, he's been throwing a lot of off-speed pitches.
See the line on Vance Worley. His line is complete for another night. 0-1 pitch. Back toward the middle. Base hit it to center field. 1 run scores. Schneider's held at third. An RBI single for Rollins. It's 5-1 Phillies.
Good job for Juan Samuel as he gets down the line, reads the ball. And that ball that was thrown in was right on the money. Good chance he would have been thrown out at home plate. Now you still have the 1 out, bases loaded. Short and quick to the ball. Didn't try and pull it as he hits it right up the middle. See Ibanez coming into your pitcher.
So Victorino will bat with the bases loaded for a second time tonight. He singled the last time he had this opportunity. With 1 out, here's the pitch from Broderick. A fastball at the knees for strike one. Victorino has 2 grand slams in the regular season, 1 in the postseason. Grounder towards second. Espinosa has it. There's one. And it's not in time. It gets away from LaRoche. 1 run scored. Here comes Valdez. 2 runs are going to score. And the Phillies lead it 7-1. And that is what speed can do for you.
Absolutely right. Another reason there, Tom, that you don't anticipate a double play. And I thought that they were saying safe, even if he had caught the ball. But with him missing the ball, another run score. Now here you go as J-Roll stopped. Little too much of a soft toss there for me. And that ball there not thrown very accurately to first base. Snyder coming in there in your pitcher.
Well, it is an RBI for Victorino, a fielder's choice, and then an E6 to allow Valdez to score. And Victorino to go to second, and Desmond takes care of Polanco. So, back-to-back innings, the Phillies have sent 8 men to the plate. The first time they scored 3 runs. This time they score 4 runs and lead it 7-1 as we go to the 7th.
Boy, a solid job by the Phillies tonight so far as we look at the Verizon Wireless game summary. Jim Riggleman was ejected in the 4th inning, arguing balls and strikes on pitches to Adam LaRoche. Later on, wound up with an RBI double, the 1 run of the game right now for the Nationals. Raul Ibanez starting to swing the bat really well again. Hit it hard tonight, 3 for 3 with a homer. And what a terrific job, Tom, by Vance Worley.
Great job by Worley. Not only that, he picked up a base hit in what could have been one of the biggest at-bats of the game so far, as Charlie Manuel had him pull back the bunt attempt, and he lined a single to left center, helped the Phillies score 3 runs in the 5th. Now Worley gives way to J.C. Romero, just off the disabled list today. He was on the DL with a strained calf muscle, pitched in Lakewood yesterday, and now is back with the big club. David Herndon was sent out to AAA Lehigh Valley. So Romero's on here in the 7th against Lance Nix and fires a strike, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, they made the decision to take Vance Worley out of this game with the bases loaded, nobody out to get more runs. Turned out they did, and they give the bullpen now 9 outs with a 6-run lead.
An arrested bullpen because of the off day and because of Cole Hamels' complete game last night.
Well, Romero coming back, if he can pitch the way that he's capable of, really gives him some more depth out there.
Said he felt that his calf was 100% in the appearance against Lakewood because he had to get involved in a rundown over at first base and cover second on a pop-up. So he had to run a little bit off the mound.
Well, that'll test it.
He made the day of the single A Lakewood Blue Claw players because after his appearance and the game, they came into the clubhouse and he had purchased them a spread from a local restaurant.
That's
so
exactly
it was dinner on him.
Right. That's exactly what a big league player is supposed to do when they go down somewhere for a rehab to a minor league club. Pick up the spread and make it be memorable. Don't just bring in some burgers. Not that there's anything wrong with burgers.
We all like burgers, Wheels.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, go for it.
Swing and a miss, a breaking ball, and Nix is rung up on strikes. One away. Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com.
I wonder if the Nationals are a little bit short with any moves tonight, whether they can use Ankiel or Morse. You know, they may be, you know, working with a really short bench.
Well, they said Ankiel, there was a possibility, but they probably weren't going to tell anybody publicly that he wasn't available because they want the Phillies to keep him on the lineup card.
Right. At least in the mind that you know, if you make this move, then they could counter with that, and it could be Rick Ankiel, who's a dangerous left-handed hitter.
0-1 the count to Jerry Hairston. Off the end of the bat. Little fly ball to shallow right. Valdez will put it away. 2 outs.
Pretty good changeup there by JC to the right-handed batter, and a good breaking ball to Nix, the left-handed hitter. That's normally the way he'll pitch. He'll throw changeups to right-handers and his breaking ball more to left-handers.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Atlanta leads Milwaukee 3-0. So Martin Prado picked up in Game 2 where he left off in Game 1 offensively. That's Tim Hudson against Zach Greinke.
You wonder if what they're going to do now for the Phillies on Sunday in Atlanta, because you know one of those guys would have to come back on 3 days that is pitching today, either Hanson or Hudson, or they would use somebody else and have to do a recall from, what is it, Gwinnett is where their AAA is. So you know, that's something down the line. We'll see what the Braves decide to do, whether or not either one of those guys got extended tonight to the point where you know they wouldn't bring them back, or they just decide not to.
There's Brian Bixler on deck to pinch hit for Broderick. Sean Burnett's up and throwing in the bullpen for the Nationals. There's Burnett. Cora wasn't sure whether the swing or not there. It was a close pitch. He decided to let it go and leave it in the hands of Alfonso Marquez, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Little fly ball to left center. That'll drop in for a base hit. So Cora has 3 hits tonight, and that was the hardest of the 3.
Yeah, and the guy wasn't in the lineup. Comes in and gets 3 hits. And I think he probably hung a breaking ball there to him. It looked like, and the way Romero reacted, it was like, oh man, I kind of threw that out there. And it's a good job by Cora, put it in play for a base hit. Looks like this one's spinning a little bit and up. Yeah, that's not a real good slider with 2 strikes on a hitter.
So Cora's aboard. Here's Brian Bixler. Wheels, who does Bixler's stance look like? You got to think back a little bit. Watch him settle into the box. Tell me if I'm seeing things. What do you think?
Aaron Rowan?
Oh, that's close. Yeah, I wasn't thinking him, but yeah, but somebody else.
On the Phillies?
At one time.
Oh yeah, that part right there.
And there.
Yeah.
Grounder toward first. Howard will pick it up. He'll touch first, and Julio Franco is retired to finish up the 7th.
That's really good. Yeah, Julio Franco.
It's actually Brian Bixler, but the side is retired. Nice return for J.C. Romero. Ryan Howard will lead it off when we get back. Time now for the Dodge Stump the Fans Trivia Quiz answer. Wheels, here's the question again. What 4 franchises did Frank Robinson manage within his career?
Montreal, Washington counts as 1.
Correct.
San Francisco.
Correct.
He had Larry Anderson, but still survived at Cleveland.
And those red uniforms.
Oh, yeah. That was, Eddie, he talks about Frank as a manager.
Yeah.
And how about Baltimore?
You are correct. Nice job with that one. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. Indians, when Frank Robinson and Larry Anderson played, they wore all those all-red uniforms from top to bottom.
And they were the mistake by the lake.
Yeah.
And Andy tells a lot of great stories about Frank being his manager, too. Oh, boy.
Shaw Burnett is the new pitcher for the Nationals, and he faced Ryan Howard to start the bottom of the 7th.
There was never a doubt who was in charge.
Larry?
No.
Howard, a foul ball off the third base side, now to play, and it's 0-2. Frank Robinson managed some bad teams in his career, but he also did a pretty good job with some bad teams in his career.
Well, yeah, you think of Frank Robinson as manager, but what I really think about him is what a player he was. You know, a lot of people didn't get a chance to see this guy play. And they think about him as a manager and, you know, at the disciplinarian in the league office and that sort of stuff. He was raw meat on the baseball field, about as tough as any guy you ever saw. But MVP in both leagues, Hall of Famer, you know, 500 home runs. List goes on and on with Frank Robinson.
Howard fouls another one off, and it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
This guy's done a really good job for Washington this year.
Well, the back end of the Nationals bullpen, if you get to it when they're leading, is fairly difficult with Storen and Burnett, and also Tyler Clippard. A grounder right towards shortstop. Desmond is still at that position even with the overshift. 1 away. Now the Cincinnati Reds will be in town beginning Monday, May 23rd. That's another Hatfield Dollar Dog Night here at the Yard. Tuesday the 24th is the Roy Oswalt Bobble figurine, compliments of Toyota. That's free to all fans. It's a 4-game series. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets today.
Yeah, Nationals came in here at 500. Now they're 1 under, and Phillies hope to put them 2 under. But one of the reasons, I think, is they're not blowing games late the way that they did before. And you mentioned that bullpen. Tyler Clippard is really a good pitcher. Fastball, changeup. Storen has a chance to be a heck of a closer. That kid we saw last night, does he have potential? You don't know whether he's going to throw enough strikes, but he throws so hard.
2-0 the count to Francisco. That's Henry Rodriguez.
Yeah, Todd Coffey is a real nice veteran guy that can pitch a lot for Jim Riggleman's club. So, they're much better back at that back end of the bullpen.
There's Clippard to the left, Coffey to the right. 3.36 ERA. Well, overall, the Nationals are pitching better this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, Jason Marquis has been tremendous. The Phillies got to him a little bit tonight, but he's done a really good job as a starter for them. There's Rodriguez, the guy we were just talking about. He's one of those guys that can legitimately throw a baseball 100 miles per hour.
In the air to the first base side, LaRoche into foul territory, had to reach back and make the play, and there are 2 outs here in the 7th. So 2 away for Ibanez, who has a chance to keep the perfect night going. Well, and that sound you hear in the background is, well, no longer booze. It's back to Raul and letting it roll.
He's hitting it hard too. He's a little closer to the plate, looks like, and making a lot better contact right now. And all of a sudden, it's not between his ears that he can't. And let's see what he can do against a left-hander, because that's a left-hander sometimes can either get you locked in or it can put you back in a slump if you start pulling off again. And this guy can make you pull off.
Two balls and no strikes the count. Two and 1 the count. Ibanez has 2 home runs this year. One of those home runs came against a lefty. That was Tim Burdack of the New York Mets, but he hasn't had a whole lot of success against left-handers since that. He's 1 for his last 17 against lefties.
Right, that was part of that offer involved. Well, that was a pretty good swing.
Towering fly ball to straightaway center. Hairston is taking a real odd route to get to that ball, but he makes the play. Phillies go down in order. We've played 7 here in Philadelphia with the Phils up 7-1. University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEP-NOW. By McDonald's. I'm loving it. By Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines' new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. And by Chevrolet. See your local Chevy dealer or visit ChevyDealer.com. Wheels, I would get dizzy if I had to get that shot.
You know what that looks like?
Around.
That looks a little bit like when we came in on the airplane that night to take a close look at the scoreboard. That was pretty cool.
After spring training, they circled the ballpark, and you could see the new video board from way up where we were in that airplane.
Yeah, that was neat.
Oh, we go to the top of the 8th. There's that new video board, the new HD board, which has really brightened things up here at the ballpark. Michael Stutz is the new pitcher for the Phillies. Now, Stutz is here in the 8th inning in a 7-1 game. You might think, all right, well, the Phillies have a 6-run lead. Why not pitch Stutz in the 8th inning? Well, he was up last night in case Cole Hamels ran into trouble in the 8th inning. And they're thinking about giving him some opportunities as a setup guy in the 8th.
Well, we're just talking about some of the good young arms and bullpen guys that the Nationals are developing. Well, the Phillies hope that they're doing that with Michael Stutz because he has a real good arm, kind of sneaky with his fastball, a little changeup, good breaking ball, and they think he's very, very competitive. So, it's a good spot to bring him in right now. Not a lot of pressure either.
Facing the top of the order. Fly ball left field. Ibanez back and over. 1 away. Well, Rich Doobie talked to the media at length today about a lot of the issues that his pitching staff has. Contreras will start to throw. Brad Lidge has started to throw a little bit. Joe Blanton will throw a bullpen tomorrow. Roy Oswalt is expected back tomorrow, and he'll probably throw. That's the plan in preparation for a start on Saturday.
And a lot of catchers out there.
Yeah. Ian Desmond takes a slider for a strike.
Well, part of being a good team, and there's Brad, and they hope to get him back soon. Part of being a good team is people have to pick up for guys when they go down. And for the last few years, that's happened around here a lot.
Big time. I think winning has a lot to do with that too, Wheels. You know, guys see the success and say, I want to be part of it.
Yep. Don't want to fail, and you want to get to the big league. They say I'm not saying it's easy, but one of the easier things is to get here. But then the hardest thing is to stay.
That's a nasty pitch right there. 2 outs.
That's a breaking ball we're just talking about. He got the first guy out on a 93 fastball, jammed him, and now he goes with a really good slider here to Ian Desmond. Good bite. Had some tumble to it. Nice pitch.
Well, Rich Doobie and this entire coaching staff has really done a very good job with the players that have come in to help the injured players. I think the biggest thing they do is they don't change what they do.
Yeah, this is a guy Worth doesn't know. For the most part, Jason Worth, when he comes and plays against the Phillies, he's going to know most of the guys out on the mound. He doesn't know this guy. Well, that's a pretty good fastball.
There's a slider.
Pretty good slider.
0-2 the count.
He's not the biggest guy, but this kid is really competitive, and he kind of jumps at the hitter, too. He keeps saying his fastball sneaky and gets up on you, but it is 92 and 93. That's advanced sneaky.
0-2 the count. Back toward the middle, and a base hit for Worth. It's his first hit of the series, and he's aboard with 2 outs.
Well, he had him where he wanted him, and he made a pitch with a fastball in the middle, or a pitch in the middle of the plate. Fastball is 94, and he threw it down the middle, and Jason hit it right back through the middle.
Tonight on Sports Night, get a complete recap of this ball game, plus all the highlights from the Flyers game against the Bruins. And during these uncertain times for the NFL, Derek Gunn catches up with Quentin Michael as his status with the Eagles is in limbo. Again, that's tonight at 10, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Sports Night, presented by Toyota.
One of the nice things when you have a lead late in the game, left-handed hitter up and play off the runner, don't even worry about him.
LaRoche is 1 for 3. Tries to check his swing, but he went around. 0-1 the count.
He'll throw a changeup to a left-handed hitter once in a while. He just used a breaking ball there to LaRoche, who was swinging first ball fastball. He's had an interesting night, hasn't he, LaRoche?
Yes, he has.
Getting called out on pitches he didn't think were strikes, and then as Worth is just going to walk on down to second on a fielder's choice. And then Phillies thought they had him struck out last time, and they didn't get it, and he doubled. Got his manager thrown out of the game. He came out to defend him.
We've replayed those strike calls a couple of different times, and they were pretty good pitches.
They did look good.
They did. Even the ones that Vance Worley didn't get before the double looked like they were pretty good pitches. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Giants on top of the Mets 2-0. Aubrey Huff 3 hits, including a double. Reports today that the Giants have had meetings discussing possible trades for a shortstop. And they've talked about Jose Reyes' availability with the Mets.
That's how they won last year, by making a lot of moves. They were like a fantasy league team last year. They put together and it all worked for them. Tremendous season.
Rollins and Worth catching up.
We're saying, where'd that kid come from? He's got a good arm.
2-2 pitch to LaRoche. Outside, 3-2.
His fastball in this inning has been 92, 3, and 4 on the board.
And ball 4, runners on first and second. Time now for our Home Depot defensive play of the game. This one was one of the best of the year.
Yeah, this is a great play. Ramos, the catcher, hits us down the line. It's a fair ball. Polanco comes up throwing. Nice play on the other end by Ryan Howard. Once again, take a look at it. Brian O'Neill, you can see the umpire there calling it fair all the way. And Ryan Howard digs it out on the other end. That is our Home Depot defensive play of the game on both ends. Outstanding play.
Home Depot doing more on defense as Ramos takes a slider inside. 1 ball, no strikes. 7-1 Phillies here in the 8th. Vance Worley went the first 6. It's the 5th straight game that the Phillies starter has gone at least 6 innings and is allowed 1 run or less. Schneider off with the mask, settles under it, now follows it, and the inning is over. So Stutz allowed a couple of base runners, but he gets Ramos to finish up the 8th. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left. We played 7.5. The Phils in control, up 7-1. Only trip to Philadelphia beginning Monday, June 6th at 7:05. It's the first of 3, and it's another Hatfield Dollar Dog Night here at the ballpark. Limited seats are available for all 3 games. Go to Phillies.com to purchase your tickets today. Tell you what, Worley's Warriors are getting a lot of play. They're on the big video board right now, or they were. And Vance Worley got a lot of play tonight because he went 6 solid innings. There's Worley's Warriors. They're losing the mustache. I think there's only 1 mustache left. Yep, just 1. Todd Coffey is the new pitcher for the Nationals. 9th ball game for Coffey. 2nd game in this series. 1-0 with a 4.05 ERA.
Always entertains a crowd when he comes into the game.
Home and road.
Yeah.
Brian Schneider leads it off. He's 2 for 3. Phillies have reached double digits again in hits. So the last week they've put together some pretty good offensive nights and days.
Yeah, and the last 2 nights they started out slowly as against Livan Hernandez and Jason Marquis tonight, and then picked it up as the game went along. You know, he just kind of hangs out, acts like everything's just fine, and does a lot behind the scenes to keep it going.
Breaking ball over for a strike. It's 1-2. He also taped another segment of his Charlie Manuel TV show today, where he went up into the PA booth and did some public address announcing with Dan Baker.
No.
Yes, he did.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. Who did he announce?
That I don't know.
Oh, man, the mind boggles.
Dan said it went very well. There's Dan, 2nd straight night. We're going to put Dan on television.
He never expected Chuck to be his assistant, huh? Oh, Danny, that had to be something. Wow.
That'll be on an upcoming installment of the Charlie Manuel television show.
Think he'd come do that in Clearwater someday?
Why, so you can go play golf?
I would love to have him come up and do that. How about him?
You, Charlie, and Don Gukin.
Right. What a trio.
2-2 the count to Schneider. Here's the pitch. A little cue shot. It's foul.
We have to give him a pronunciation guide, I think, for some of those names.
He's not alone.
No, that's true. I'm sure that guy is just really at home where he is right now, in a baseball uniform on the field. He's a lifer.
Toward first base, and LaRoche will take it to the bag and retire Schneider for the first out here in the 8th. So 1 away, and it'll bring Wilson Valdez to the plate. Phillies trying to win their 4th straight against Washington, and not only that, but make it 4 of 5 against the National League East during this particular run. They wrap up the series tomorrow on Comcast Sportsnet with Roy Halladay pitching against John Lannon. But 15 in a row against the National League East. It won't be the last time they play the National League East for a long stretch this year. But it's important to get wins whenever you can.
Right, Atlanta comes in here after the Nationals, and then the Phillies go to Florida and Atlanta. Danny's Bias is going to pitch the 9th. Michael Martinez will come out and bat for Stutz, who did a nice job in 1 inning.
Fly ball left center field. Nix is over into the alley. And there are 2 outs now in the 8th. So here is Michael Martinez, the former National. former national farmhand. He was catching up with some of the guys that he was familiar with, some of the coaches. Up to this year, he spent his entire career in the Washington organization. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Martinez has just 17 at bats. He's 3 for 17 in his rookie year. 28-year-old from Santo Domingo, the Dominican Republic. Breaking ball for strike 2. It's 1-2. Trying another breaking pitch there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And that's right, folks. These cool temperatures might have snuck up on a lot of folks, and you're just trying to stay warm any way you can. That looks like a Halloween costume that he's putting together there.
Doing anything he can. That's quite a look.
He's going to have a kink in his neck tomorrow. Ball 4. Martinez is aboard with 2 outs here in the 8th. And Rollins will bat for the 5th time. Rollins now 4 for 7 back in the leadoff spot. But you add the walk tonight, the walk last night, and he's been very productive in this spot.
It's a very good on-base percentage, obviously, for 2 games. And you know that this is the best spot in the order for Jimmy Rollins. He knows it. Club knows it. It's just that you can't always do it this way. And he's not the perfect leadoff guy. And Shane Victorino, good 2-hole hitter, maybe even 6 if things shake out and they get some guys back, especially at Chase Utley. Polanco is their best 2-hole hitter, and Jimmy Rollins is their best leadoff guy. But as he said, it just can't quite do it that way right now.
Well, and this was not about Victorino failing in the leadoff spot, because he did a nice job as the leadoff hitter. This was more to try to get more out of Rollins and get more speed at the top of the order.
They put them both up there at the top of the order, and then have a guy like Polanco who is a contact hitter, and you know, you get some things done in front of him. Maybe he can get him in, get him over. Who knows?
No balls, 2 strikes the count to Rollins here in the bottom of the 8th with the Phillies up 7-1. Off the end of the bat, Coffey will take it and then run halfway to first before he leads LaRoche to the bag, and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, 1 man left. We have completed 8. It's on to the 9th, and Danny Baez is coming on and close it out. 7-1. This was a pitcher's duel, literally a pitcher's duel through the first 3 or 4 innings, actually the first 4, and then the Phillies scored 3 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th. Danny Baez takes over here in the 9th. So Baez will try to combine forces with Michael Stutz and J.C. Romero to pick up out of the bullpen for Vance Worley, who was outstanding tonight through 6 innings. Worley allowed just 1 run, didn't walk anybody, struck out 7. He allowed 4 hits. And he is in line right now if Baez can get the last 3 outs of this game to pick up his 2nd victory in as many starts.
And well deserved. He did a tremendous job here again tonight in these 2 starts against the Mets and the Nationals.
And his at bat again, and we'll keep harping on it, but the fact that Charlie did not have him sacrifice and had him swing away, and he got a hit that was huge in that 3-run inning. As Nix greets Baez with a single here in the 9th.
Well, if you remember Vance's first at bat, Jason Marquis really threw him some good pitches and he jammed him. And twice he got pretty good swings, considering as badly as he got jammed, and he wound up hitting that little humpback liner for an out the first time up.
Jerry Hairston's 0 for 3. He's popped out twice to second, fly to right. His average has dipped down even more. He came in hitting 190, and now he's down to 182. He's a better hitter than 182.
Yeah, this guy's a really good extra man, but probably being forced to play a little bit more than they want him to. Obviously at third base with Ryan Zimmerman, their guy on the disabled list. You know, Ryan Zimmerman's the face of their franchise, and he had that stomach operation here yesterday in Philadelphia.
And he'll be out for the next 6 weeks. At least. Yeah, next 6 weeks.
At least, yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, the reports on it where it was not as serious as it could have been, and you know they hope to get him back sooner than maybe they thought originally. Gary Harrison's having a tough night. That fan gets a baseball and he beat that ball right off his foot.
Thank you, Mr. Porter, she just said. That's Sarge's friend, Bo Porter.
That's right. Former defensive back at the University of Iowa. Very good college football player.
A little high with that breaking ball. 2-2 the count. Hairston may have turned his ankle on that.
Well, I think he's still hurting. Yeah, and he's still hurting a little bit from that foul ball he hit off there.
Yeah. I thought he stepped and maybe twisted it.
Well, I'm sure it's not feeling real good right now on a night like this.
A little unstable.
Oh.
Tried to check his swing, didn't matter. Called strike 3, 1 away. So Hairston's 0 for 4.
And Danny Baez throws a nice pitch or a fastball that ran back over the plate. Hairston recognized a little earlier it was a pretty good pitch to hit, but he just kind of froze on it.
So 1 out. Alex Cora is the hitter. He's 3 for 3 tonight.
Matt Stairs in the on-deck circle. Get a nice hand when he comes up, and the fans that are still here.
Yeah, Matty hasn't had a whole lot of at-bats this year, and he's been walked a number of times.
Looking for pinch hit 100, right?
Number 100, yep.
He's 99 in his fine career. Those guys will always be one of the most heralded and thought about players in the history of Phillies baseball.
Absolutely.
For that home run he hit off Broxton. What a blast that was, and a big part of that game.
And a big part of the World Championship.
Oh. That was a long one.
It's 2 balls and 1 strike to Alex Cora. Runner at first with one away here in the top of the ninth. Phillies trying to win their 20th game, and they would join the Cleveland Indians as the only two teams in the majors with 20 victories.
Well, there'd be some people in baseball that say, well, they expect half of that to be accurate. What a start for Cleveland.
3-2. Now, they did a lot of it without Grady Sizemore, and now he's back with them. Travis Hafner has hit some big home runs for them.
The pitching's been really good.
The pitching's been very good.
Perez, a kid they got from the Cardinals, hard thrower that we saw with him. He's done a nice job at the back of their bullpen.
Payoff pitch coming on the inside corner. Called strike 3. Cora wasn't happy with that call, but then again, the Nationals haven't been happy with the inside part of the plate for Alfonso Marquez tonight.
Well, he ran that one back, and that was a pitch that LaRoche was complaining about earlier from Worley, that he didn't run it back enough. And Cora thought he had a ball for, and he didn't.
Well, that's the response for Matt Stairs. So Stairs with 99 career pinch hits. The runner goes and make it 100.
I want that ball.
Lance Nix goes to third. And that's pretty impressive.
Jimmy Rollins knows, these players are aware of things. They read and they hear. And as soon as that ball came back in, you saw Jimmy Rollins was getting ready to toss it out for him. How about this one on a full moon night in Chavez Ravine? Boom.
Best part, watch the reaction of the dugout when he gets in there, if we show it. No, we didn't show it. It was great. It was Pat Burrell and Jeff Jenkins, and they were just pounding him as he went down the stairs.
There's a lot more to pound in those days, too.
Phillies fans, you know that it was a memorable swing. It's on some of their phones around the ballpark. Yeah. So congratulations to Matt Stairs, the 100th career pinch hit of his career.
And they cheer him as he moves up to second on the fielder's choice.
By the way, that was also his first hit of the year. He told me yesterday, he goes, I said, how's it going? He goes, just looking for an average. Looking for a batting average.
He's always got a line, too. He's very dry.
1 ball, no strikes to Espinosa. Fly ball down the left field line, slicing out of play. Espinosa's 0 for 3. He has scored the only run for Washington tonight. That was in the 6th after being hit by a pitch. Nix is on third. Stairs is on second. Phillies 1 out away from picking up another series victory. To right center field. That's pretty well hit. Francisco's going back, and that one is gone. A 3-run home run, and all of a sudden, this is a 7-4 game.
That kid's got some pop, boy, Espinosa. He's going to be a good player. Looked like he got a down and in fastball, and he just dropped the head on it and hit it a long way. They really like him, and we see him a lot. Now Ryan Madsen's going to get up. They certainly did not want to even get him up tonight. Here, do you see where the pitch was? Down and in, and for a left-handed hitter, they love it in that spot, and he jerked that thing out of here. Boy, that's a long one.
3rd home run of the year for Espinosa. 18 RBIs now. Here's Desmond with 2 outs, nobody on in the top of the 9th. Chopper toward the left side. Rollins has it on the big hop, hurries the throw in time, and the ball game is over. The Phillies have taken the first 2 from the Washington Nationals tonight by a final score of 7-4. Danny Baez allowed the 3-run home run here in the 9th. But he preserved it for Vance Worley, who picks up his 2nd victory in as many starts. And Raul Ibanez really got the ball rolling for the Phillies with that home run, the solo shot in the bottom of the 5th that gave the Phils a 1-0 lead. He finishes with 3 hits on the night. And his turnaround has continued over the last couple of days. And speaking of his home run, here's our WB Mason delivery of the game.
First pitch from Jason Marquis leading off the 5th inning to Raul Ibanez. Looks like a little backdoor breaking ball, and he hits it a long way out to right center field. That had to really feel good for Raul, who's picked it up big time in this series. And our WB Mason delivery of the game, that home run by Raul Ibanez.
So the 2nd home run of the year for Ibanez tonight was about the Phillies offense, sending 8 men to the plate in 2 different innings to take that lead. It was also about Vance Worley, who went 6 innings tonight and picked up his 2nd victory. He was outstanding. So the Phillies did a whole lot on the mound and a whole lot at the plate. And speaking of the plate, Sarge is with Raul Ibanez.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. You ever think you were going to get a hit here coming up? I thought we were going to have to take the razor blades out of the clubhouse there.
They did. They had to take the razor blades out of the clubhouse. But, you know, Sarge, it was definitely a tough grind. But, you know, you got to keep battling and stick with it and keep fighting and keep working and you know, hoping that your ability, your God-given ability, you know, will take over and your hard work will take over.
Very aggressive tonight you were on your pitches. Consequently, you look very, very comfortable.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you know, I've been working hard, doing a lot of stuff in there with Charlie and with Gigi and busting your tail, you know, and you know, it comes down to kind of trusting your ability in the end and trying to, you know, help out the team.
How much does that confidence play once you start hitting the ball the way that you can? Because you started really to relax at the plate.
Yeah, you know, I think what all it takes really is one, and then you start feeling better and you start thinking, hey, it's possible, you know? So definitely, you know, for a while there, balls were going right to guys, and the soft ones go right to them, the hard ones go right to them, whatever. But, you know, fortunately, it's behind us now, and we're going to move forward.
Worley's 2nd start, impressive for you?
Yeah, he did great. He's thrown the ball really well. He's been aggressive, pounding the strike zone, you know, throwing that comebacker in the lefties. And he can swing the bat, too.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate that. Continued success in hitting the ball.
Thanks, Sarge.
All right. All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Sarge, thank you very much. Nice night all the way around for the Phillies offense. 7 runs on 11 hits. They win it for Vance Worley. They take the first 2 of this series. We'll be back after this.